Maligayang pagbabalik. Okay, so this is again Sir Carlos and we are still in chemistry. Okay, so I hope na naaalala mo lahat ng mga pinag-aralan natin in the previous videos. Kung hindi man, they're always right there. And if you want to contact me too, you can always like message me in my through my Facebook account. Okay, so I'm always open to help you. I forgot this. I keep on forgetting this. Pero if you want to have a copy of these presentations that I am using in making these video lessons, pwede mo naman akong i-message sa Facebook Facebook account ko. Usually I give copies of these presentations sa mga fellow Science 9 teachers ko in the Philippines. Okay, so ayun. But if you are a pre-service teacher and you wish to use these perhaps for you in your sa inyong parang practice teaching, ganun, you can always hit me up. Hit my inbox up through my Facebook account. So we're continuing with green and chemistry. This is still for learning competency number 3. Explain the formation of ionic and covalent compounds. If you want to follow through with some kind of with the learner's module, which is a reading material, you can open it in Unit 2, Module 1, pages 21 to 24. Let's begin. Anyway, yeah. The ceremonial reading of the 3 parts of the session. So the first part is a pre-assessment on multiple choices. The second part is activity number 1, mapping the periodic table. And then the third part is a discussion on valence electrons and electronegativity. Okay, so for the pre-assessment, you'll be given these types of items, high multiple choices. Okay, so question number 1, if you're ready, let's begin. I hope that you have your notebook with you or a clean sheet of paper and any writing instrument. Perhaps a pen or a pencil will do. Okay, for question number 1, which of the following properties of atoms is the most suitable reference for the kind of bond that will take place between or among them? So A, atomic size, B, electronegativity, C, ionization energy, and D, electron affinity. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for the next question. Question number 2. What kind of particle is produced after covalent bonding? A, atom, B, molecule, C, ion, D, electron. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for the next question. Question number 3. How does ionic bonding take place? Okay, so A, 2 nonmetallic elements of different kinds form strong forces of attraction. B, 2 nonmetallic elements of the same kind form strong forces of attraction. C, a nonmetallic element like fluorine is attracted to a metallic element like, say for instance, sodium. D, a metallic element like sodium transfer an electron to a nonmetallic element like fluorine. If you need more time, if you want more time to decide, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for question number 4. Question number 4 is asking, what kind of chemical bond will form between 2 oxygen atoms? A, ionic bond, B, metallic bond, C, polar covalent bond, and D, nonpolar covalent bond, or bond. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for question number 5. Which of the following types of bonds will have the highest electrical and thermal conductivity? A, ionic bond, B, metallic bond, C, polar covalent bond, D, nonpolar covalent bond. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready for the next question. Question number 6. Why can metals be hammered without breaking? A, they are ductile. B, they are not brittle. C, they are malleable. D, its particles are strong. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready for question number 7. Question number 7. When does covalent bonding take place? A. It takes place when atoms share electrons with one another. B. It takes place when the attraction between atoms is strong. C. It takes place when atoms collide with one another. D. It takes place when atoms attain stability. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for question number 8. Question number 8. Nitrogen, or element symbol N, belongs to family 5A, and it is diatomic. How many nonpolar covalent bonds will there be in nitrogen molecules, or N2 molecules? A. 1, B. 2, C. 3, D. 4. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, you are ready for question number 9. Question number 9. Which of the following will have the highest melting temperature? A. Sodium chloride or salt. B. Paraffin wax or candle wax. C. Sucrose or the usual table sugar. D. Lead wire. If you need more time, you can pause this video. Proceeding with question number 10. Question number 10 is asking which of the following shows that an atom is stable? A. Having 2 valence electrons. B. Having 4 valence electrons. C. Having 6 valence electrons. And D. Having 8 valence electrons. So we're talking about the general stability of atoms. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready to check your own work. So grab a pen that has a different that has an ink na iba yung kulay dun sa ginamit yung pansagot. The answer to question number 1 is B, electronegativity. The answer to question number 2 is B, molecule. The answer to question number 3 is D. A metallic element is like sodium transfers an electron to a non-metallic element like fluorine. Question number 4, D. Nonpolar covalent bond. Question number 5, the answer is C. Polar covalent bond. Question number 6, the answer is C. They are malleable. Question number 7, the answer is A. It takes place when atoms share electrons with one another. Question number 8, the answer is 3, C. Question number 9, the answer is A, sodium or salt. Question number 10, last question, the answer is letter D, having 8 valence electrons. Count the number of your correct responses, correct answers. Okay. Okay, so I hope that you remember, if you are my student in grade 9, you were supposed to post this in Edmodo, so do not forget that. That ends the pre-assessment, the first part of this session. Multiple choices. The second part is an activity mapping the periodic table, and it has the following objectives. The first objective is identify the number of valence electrons of atoms. So we need to be able to identify kung ilan ba yung mga electrons na makikita dun sa valence shell, sa may outermost shell ng isang atom or ng isang given element. The second objective is compare the electronegativity values of metals and non-metals. The materials you will be needing are the following: okay, paper, pencil, and the periodic table. Okay, so I would like you to look at this periodic table and locate the metals, non-metals, and noble gases. During our synchronous session, if you're one of my students, I will be using a periodic table, the interactive PowerPoint of the periodic table of elements. So, mas facilitated doon yung magiging discussion natin. For the meantime, that's the concept that you need to, those are the basic concepts you need to look for. Also, if you need the power of the internet, okay, you can identify some usual metals and non-metals, then locate them in this periodic table. If you need more time to observe or to locate metals and nonmetals and noble gases in this periodic table, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready to answer the following questions. So question number 1, where can you find metals, nonmetals, and noble gases in the periodic table of elements? If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready to answer question number 2. Which number will give you an idea on the number of valence electrons? Okay, so remember what we discussed in the previous PowerPoint. If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you're ready for the next question. What do you notice in the number of valence electrons of metals, nonmetals, and noble gases? If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for question number 4. Between metals and nonmetals, which of the two has less than 4 valence electrons? Which between the two has more than 4 valence electrons? Which of the two has low electronegativity? And between metals and nonmetals, which has high electronegativity? If you need more time, you can pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready to answer your own work. So remember the following. I'll be giving you guides on how to assess your answers if you were able to do what is being asked of you, okay, based from the descriptions of the correct answers. And then you can rate yourself 1 point, okay, for any given number. For question number 1, the answer is, okay, so facing the periodic table, metals are located before the metalloids on the left side of the periodic table of the elements. So those are the groups 1 to 13. And then facing the periodic table, nonmetals are found after the metalloids on the right side of the periodic table, which are groups 14 to 17. The noble gases are the rightmost column of the periodic table, group number 18. So groups 1 to 13, okay, groups 1 to 13, that's like you're gonna count from, wait lang. I'm just gonna activate my laser pointer. So these are corresponding usually the usual metals, okay, and then these are the metalloids. Non-metals are right here, and then the noble gases are these. Okay, so I hope that you're also familiar, and you remember that from the previous PowerPoint, we introduced the noble gases. For question number 2, the answers must have the following elements. The representative elements or main group elements are found in the S block and P block of the periodic table. The group number of the S block, groups 1 and 2 elements, tells us the number of valence electrons. It's the same concept, okay? So group number of valence electrons. For example, all elements belonging to group 2 have 2 valence electrons. An exception is helium in group 18. For the P block elements, groups 13 to 18, the number of valence electrons is the group number minus 10. This pattern does not include the transition elements. So that's supposed to be the nature of your answer for question number 2. Let us now continue with the answer to question number 3. The answer to question number 3, okay, must have the following elements. Metals have lesser valence electrons than nonmetals. All noble gases have 8 valence electrons except for helium, which has only 2 valence electrons. So that is the nature of your answer. That is supposed to be the nature of your answer for question number 3. Let us now continue with the answers to question number 4. So, between metals and nonmetals, metals have valence electrons less than 4. And nonmetals have valence electrons more than 4. In terms of electronegativity, generally, metals have low electronegativity, whereas nonmetals have high electronegativity. Okay, so count the number of correct answers. Okay, and then I hope that you record your scores well. This is 4/4 if you got all of the answers correctly. That ends this part of the session. The last part of the session is a discussion on valence electrons and electronegativity. So, if we're talking about valence electrons, we mean the electron that is found in the valence shell. So, the outermost energy level in this atom is energy level number 1, 2, 3, 4th energy level. And the valence electron that is found in the 4th energy level is what you call as the outermost electron as well. To effectively show the number of valence electrons an element has, expression through Lewis symbols is done. Okay, so I'm sorry, this is an overlapping text. The valence electrons are the electrons directly involved in forming bonds to form compounds. So sila yung electrons na na talagang involved dun sa pag-form ng mga compounds. Sila yung nagmo-move. Okay, yung mga electrons na nasa may outermost shell. It is important that you know the number of valence electrons so that you can illustrate how bonds are formed. So illustrating them is done through Lewis symbol. So I know this is not quite readable, pero it is good that you have found out that metals have low electronegativity and nonmetals have high electronegativity, because that is a property that you will be using for the next topics pa natin. Okay, so the key points of this slide, even though nag-overlap yung mga text and I'm not really in the to repeat this explanation, is that you have to know that the electronegativity for nonmetals is higher than the electronegativity for metals, and that you can also illustrate these electrons, valence electrons especially, through Lewis symbols. Okay, so okay, so electronegativity is a measure of the tendency of an atom to attract electrons. At the higher its value, the higher its tendency to attract electrons. So that is electronegativity. The tendency ng atom na mag-acquire, mag-attract ng mga electrons. Okay, kapag mataas yung electronegativity, mas mataas yung tendency na makapag-attract siya ng electrons, and vice versa. And so we're done with the discussion on valence electrons and electronegativity. So we began this session with the pre-assessment. It was followed by activity number 1. And then we ended it with a discussion on valence electrons and electronegativity. And so I hope that you will be finishing your asynchronous and modular tasks under my class, and that if you have any questions, you can always message me through my Facebook account. The link is going to be in the description. Have a nice day, I guess, if you're watching this during the day. See you in the next video.